27 years ago, I stood on the steps of this same building and spoke the night before my graduation at an event called the Candlelight Ceremony. I had decided to try to give a funny speech about the real world, and in doing that, to poke fun at people like my parents, who were always telling me that I needed to stop taking strange, weird courses and start preparing myself for the real world, which was someplace, was clearly understood, outside Williamsburg. I now believe it is a much more important part of the real world than I knew in 1982. This place is important because the rest of the real world is often too busy, too noisy, and too dangerous. And it is very hard in that environment to find time to pause and reflect. It's hard to find the space to question first principles, to find out how things got to be the way they are, and to think about how we might change them, to actually take something apart to learn how it was made. There's too little time and space to reshape or shape in the first place your approach to things. The rest of the real world, I'm sorry to say, is also a place where it's hard sometimes to find someone who listens with the idea that they might actually be convinced of what you're saying. Instead, what happens is that people listen in order to figure out what rebuttal to make. This little corner of the real world is different and always has been different. And I see that so much more clearly looking back. William and Mary is something of an island. It is an island removed a bit from the craziness and danger and distraction of the rest of the world. But on this island, people are going to poke you and prod you and demand that you give a hard scrubbing to your beliefs, your preconceptions, and your conclusions, and not care where you end up, but care that you show your work, and absolutely insist that you listen and understand to viewpoints different from your own. This place, this island, is a place where you can meet and really come to know different people. All interesting, some fascinating, some a little scary, to be honest. This is the place where people have long taken the time to think and to talk about our government, our institutions, and our natures, and about ways we might improve all three. William and Mary is the alma mater of a nation because it turns out people who've used their time here to challenge themselves and to broaden themselves. It turns out people who, when they leave here, want to keep learning, keep challenging, and keep contributing. We need teachers and diplomats and doctors and engineers and lawyers and artists and volunteers and writers and people of all sorts who care about making a difference, because there are so many ways to serve the world, our country, and our communities. Every single person can make a contribution and a difference. That kind of person has always come from here. Which leads me to the last thing I want to tell you. You have now joined a very special family. What's special about this time is that it's now that you add your light to the beacon that has always lit the way for this country. This school, which literally produced the people who designed this country, but more than that, produced the people who have ever since nurtured it and protected it and made it better. Your membership in this family will change your life. As a new member of the family that has always guided the life of this great country, you have obligations to which you must be faithful. Your first obligation is to never, ever fail to help a fellow member of this tribe, and to look for ways to advance those who follow you, to hire them, to mentor them, to protect them, to recommend them. Those ahead of you are going to do that for you. It's a shared obligation that lasts for a lifetime. Your second obligation is a solemn duty to give back some of what's going to come to you by virtue of your membership in this family. Contributing your time, your talent, and even your money to this family, to this tribe, is a matter of honor every bit as important to this college as our code, and no less sacred. Those who follow you will depend upon your keeping that obligation. Never, ever forget that. The long line of patriots and servants that began at this very spot 300 years ago now stretches down and includes you. By joining that line, you have made it much better. Welcome to the tribe. I am honored to call you brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Jim Comey, you have beautifully, marvelously captured the essence of William and Mary, and we thank you. And we thank you for all you have done for the college over the years.